Hello, in this video we're going to configure Gulp with ngtemplate. This video will build on our last video where we set up less in Gulp. In order to get the code from that video, we're going to clone the Git repo. That's at github.com/bjanderson/jspm-angular-core. So we'll go to our projects folder and we'll do git clone in the repo. And that's going to create a folder named JSPM Angular Core, and we're going to cd into that. That'll put us on the master branch, and we want to git checkout less setup. And that'll give us the code from the last video, and then we're going to create a new branch. We'll call this one ngtemplate-setup. And then we're going to run npm start to install our npm and JSPM dependencies. And then we're going to install new dependencies using npm install save dev. And we're going to install Gulp ngtemplate and Gulp HTML min. Okay, now we're going to open Sublime Text. We're going to do subl dot. And that will open up our project for us. And we're going to add a new Gulp task. We're going to call it ngtemplate.js. And this is what our ngtemplate.js is going to look like. So we're going to require Gulp, Gulp HTML min, and Gulp ngtemplate. And then we're going to set up our HTML min options to remove comments and collapse white space. And you can see the link below to get more configuration options for HTML min. Then we're going to create a task named ngtemplate, and we're going to give it all of our .tpl.html files in our client directory, and we're going to make sure to ignore our JSPM packages directory. Then we're going to pipe that into HTML min, so we get nice compressed HTML that we're going to pipe into ngtemplate. So ngtemplate is then going to create a standalone module, and it's going to store it in modules, HTML templates, htmltemplates.module.js. And that is what we will import into our project. And now we can run our ngtemplate. If we run Gulp ngtemplate, that will create a new module for us in the HTML templates directory. And you can see that it grabbed our home TPL HTML and put it into a template cache. Now we can import that into our project. If we go to main module, we will just put that right here under style CSS, and we'll give it an absolute path. So we'll import from modules, HTML templates, htmltemplates.module. And then we also have to include it in our module dependencies. So we'll put HTML templates here. And this name comes from this module name right here. And that module name is what we set for the module name here. So whatever you put as the module name here is what you want to include in your module dependencies for your project. And we don't have to do this, but I also like to make all of my modules standalone, just in case I want to put them in different projects in the future. So I'm going to import that into my home module as well. And in order to use this in my home module, I definitely do have to put HTML templates as a dependency. So the import is optional since I already imported it into the main module, but including it in the module dependencies is not optional. I do have to put it there. And now we can change our home config, since that's where we're going to use it. and we're going to change it from using template URL to using a template provider. So the template provider is a function that initializes the template cache, and it gets our module from the template cache. And you'll notice the module name is still the path to the file that starts at index.html. So here in HTML templates, you can see this is the module name, and it just uses the file path as the name for the module. And then we import that into our home config.js. So now instead of using the HTML file, it'll grab this from the JavaScript file. And that's nice because then we don't have to have a ton of HTML files in our deployment. We just have another JavaScript file that we can minify and compress and do all those nice things with for JavaScript. And now we want to go to our serve.js file, and we're going to take off this reload from the HTML watch, and we're just going to give that our ngtemplate task. And we also want to add that down here to nodemon so that it runs whenever we run Gulp and start the server or start our development. And we don't need to reload on this because this ngtemplate task is going to modify a JavaScript file, and that will trigger the reload change. So we don't need another reload here. We'll just have the JavaScript reload. And finally, we want to go to ESLint, and we want to make sure that we ignore our HTML templates module.js because that's generated code. It's not code that we've written, and any changes we make to it are going to be overwritten, so there's no point in linting it. Even if we find errors, they're just going to be there. So we want to just ignore that. That should do it. Now if we run Gulp, okay, now we will test this out. So we're going to go to our home TPL HTML, and we're going to change it. So now you'll see that ngtemplate runs and the browser reloads after it runs. So now you can see that we're putting a watch on our HTML file, and the JavaScript file is getting changed, and that's causing the browser to reload. And that's it. That's adding ngtemplate to our Gulp configuration. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment below.